Right, let's give it a go. The Misshapen Chair's social hierarchy.
It's a holiday miracle, travelers. Welcome to another unholy video.
I
Today,
think I've
I
seen
will
this guy's
explain
videos
each
before.
social group of player and where everyone fits into the pecking order, from the very worst to the absolute tippy top of the player base.
Tippy
So
top,
without
baby.
wasting any time,
Hrothgar's.
let's start with the bottom, the absolute worst people that you will encounter. The kinds of people who you are unsure if they're a human being or a pile of garbage that has gained sentience and joined your duty roulette.
Oh dear.
These are the kind of players who simultaneously
exist
have
in
no
this game as
idea
well.
what any mechanic in the game does,
Oh
and
no.
have no idea how to play their class properly.
The Russes.
On top
What
of
the
it,
hell?
the DPS players who don't AoE, the healers who don't even DPS but still manage to drop the tank, and they deflect any sort of mild criticism to playing like this with "you don't pay my sub." Thankfully, the game does put a little.
You don't pay my sub, I can do what I want. It's true. Technically. You pull it, you tank it. Classic. That's a WoW one as well. It's very rare to kick. I imagine it's probably like, okay, we've been in this run for an hour and little Jimmy in the corner still isn't getting it, you know? In fact, I reckon even in that scenario, you probably still wouldn't vote kick. But if he starts being an asshole about it, then you might do, right? You're hard pressed to get kicked to go unless they're being really bad. You're like really bad and then like also being a dick about it maybe. I don't pay a sub in this game. I bought the full game and I got 30 days playtime for free. Currently unsubbed. I went YOLO and I bought the full game before even playing it. So, you know, just high baller strategy right there.
Little symbol next to these players so that you know what you're getting into ahead
Mentors.
of time. I'm talking about mentors. I'm not
Burger
exactly
King.
sure what attracts people to this status, but the absolute scourge of the world
Have a
are
look at
just
this somewhere.
always mentors. I'm pretty sure if Hitler was alive, he would have been a mentor in this game. After wondering why that shit-stained crown even exists, I have finally pieced it together for you. They serve as a prime example of how not to play the game. Thankfully, this club is exclusive, so there's not too many mentors to encounter, but they do make up the absolute bottom of the social hierarchy. Moving up one step from the very bottom.
Do we have a lot of
our
mentors in
peers,
here, though?
Specifically in Lim Solo Minsa.
Okay,
now, this is a class of players that are only just above mentors. Every godforsaken time you have to do something in Limsa, it's a group that single-handedly makes you fill with dread. Now, there's always an orgy going on in the Aetherite Plaza.
Hey, ain't
and
nothing
some
wrong with
other
that.
degeneracy that I don't even want to think about. Now, I do not care what two consenting adults do in their own time, but Ram Ranch is looking like an abstinence-only training camp by comparison. Like, my God, why is it always in public? The only thing good about Scholar was like...
Dude, that was so good yesterday when we went to Limsa for the first time. And I just looked. It was literally the first person that I laid eyes upon in Limsa. Like, I'd heard the memes, right? And I walked out. Like, I got the airship to Limsa. I went and did the MSQ quest. We met the Admiral. We went downstairs. And then you guys were like, check out Limsa while you're here. And I was like, oh, yeah, true. And the literal first person was just like a lady standing in, like, she was standing in the middle of the pathway. So you basically couldn't miss her. And I remember looking at her and being like, oh, haha. And then we kind of just like moved on, went and like, you know, sat with that bard who was playing the music. And then you guys came over to me and I was inspecting your adventure plates and stuff, right? And then someone was like, yo, go find a sussy adventure plate. And I was like, I know exactly where to find one. And it was literally the first person that, like, I went back to the first woman that we saw, the first girl that we saw when we came in. And it was like the most sus plate, dude. And then I don't know, I could just see the characters and like be like, that one's gonna have an adventure plate where they're naked or something. And just every time.
Letting you get out of this shithole after level 50. If you ever think that you've done
Yeah,
something
I've seen
cringy
you
in
chatting.
your life like I have, always remember that at least you're not part of this crowd. Maybe I'm uncultured and my antisocial tendencies are too high, so I don't understand the joy of emoting for 12 hours in the same spot.
Oh,
but
this
my
guy's
God, it's just so annoying. Just take a big swig of your favorite liquor before visiting the city.
He's like the opposite of what we've been doing.
That you're too wasted to remember the horror.
Just sitting there emoting and stuff.
All right, now this next one might seem a little bit oddly specific, but I'm going to be talking about people who make class guides on YouTube. These people are always so irritating. Asking...
Wait, did he actually have 200 subs when he made this video? The growth. He's got 90k now. Yeah, people watching in this game, I imagine, is like really interesting, actually. I love a good people watch in real life. So I imagine doing it in the game when everyone's just like going off the chain. Dude, he did some YouTube
people who
growth.
make class guides on YouTube. These people are always so irritating, asking you to subscribe to their channel.
Yep.
In some bullshit. I bet they're not even mediocre at all the classes that they play.
I'm loving it so far.
They even have the audacity to post their shitty content onto your favorite subreddit. The absolute nerve of these people. Even better, I think they live stream things other than Final Fantasy too. Thankfully, it is always hard to tell who these people are while playing Final Fantasy, but they're always lurking somewhere.
Because everyone's a bunny girl.
Either way, they get the title of not being a mentor in game, but they're only a step above by being a mentor on YouTube.
So wait, mentors are below the bottom of the pyramid.
Anyone telling you that crafting is not a giant pyramid scheme in this game is just fucking lying. Leveling up your crafters is a big scam of being able to put as much money into it to make your leveling experience faster, and then trying to make all that money back by selling crafting materials to other crafters. If everyone just signs up 10 of their friends, we will exceed the amount of atoms in the universe with the number of people that we have crafting.
This is how it works.
Once you're at the top, you still have to pentameld all your shit.
That is kind of the same in WoW, though. You usually put like some people go out and gather all the materials they need to level up, but most people they'll just buy everything they need on the auction house, speed level it up in like a couple hours, and then you're sat there like, well, now I need to put in X amount of hours just to break even, and then everything after that is kind of profit, right? Basically how it works with most crafting professions. Event tomorrow, Giga Phoenix. All right, we're definitely gonna get that.
To
one.
even make the stuff for your static. I definitely don't know that from experience. However, this social class that I'm talking about is for the true crafters, the people who don't do anything else other than craft. I do admire. I see you guys.
I see you guys.
That will complain if they have to go into a single instance for a patch that interrupts their important crafting time. The only rotation mastery they need.
Yeah, but they're the Gillionaires.
Craft. So
hello.
It does suck if they have to do their instances once in a while. At least this group is restoring Ishgard for everyone else to do their instance.
What was this like 50% thing on the action bars? Sounds like Warrior then.
While, at least this
maybe
group
I tank a
Ishgard
dungeon at some point.
Everyone else
have to level up Warrior
to deal with the minigame. Flowers, the returning players.
Flowers.
You might think it's weird that I haven't mentioned Sprouts yet, but let me be clear. Flowers are just worse Sprouts. Unlike new players who have no idea what's going on and are just trying to learn, these people have no idea what's going on, but have preconceptions of what they believe is truly right. So it's a complete coin flip because flowers come in all shapes and sizes.
I think I've been a good Sprout so far.
Playing to raise his kid.
I think I've been sprouting well.
School, only to finally come back and lead your group down the path of righteousness. Or they could be a former mentor who lost the status after the player commendation requirement was increased. You will find out very quickly if that flower is a beautiful rose or a rotten dead horse arm lily.
What the
Either way, flowers do start to make up the bottom of the middle part of the social hierarchy. Now, just above that, we have plot watchers. And these players are the ones that don't play the game for anything other than the plot. Only resubbing just for the patch, but not for the new instances or even the optional instances, just to get that character development. You might think that it is weird that flowers and plot watchers are not the same group. The difference between the two is that plot watchers have the biggest ego of any social group within Final Fantasy XIV.
MSQ Andes. This is them, right? This is the ones that I've heard so much about. Especially as a streamer. Scatter. This dude met us. Well, so from my understanding, right? We've got MSQ Andes, right? Let's call them MSQ enjoyers and appreciators, and MSQ Andes, MSQ only Andes, right? In my experience so far, and I'm very recently into this, right? I think there's nothing wrong with the you know, people saying, what is it, the MSQ social vampires and whatnot, and watching for the story to see the reaction, and I think that's great, and living vicariously through my playthrough and whatever. And then you got the MSQ only Andes. So the stuff I just said I'd call like MSQ enjoyers, right? Giga Chads. And then you got the Andes, which is from what I've heard, the guys who are like, it's been 6 minutes and you have not done a quest. Bro, I can't believe you're getting distracted and checking an adventure plate. Get on the airship. Get on the airship. Just pull. But the thing is, right, just because how my stream works, we're going to weed those guys out. Because I do a lot of stalling. We do a lot of reacting. We do a little bit of MSQ. But we do enjoy the MSQ when we do it. Okay, let me clarify. We do enjoy the MSQ as we go. But it's not the be-all, end-all. So eventually those guys will probably one too many times be like, just pull. And then they'll probably end up just, you know, going off. When's Ben's? What the fuck does that mean? The 4-hour character. Yeah, honestly, the people that survived the character creation, I feel like you guys are in it for the long haul now anyway.
Always reminding us that our Lord and Savior Yoshi P said that they do not have to remain
When's
subs
react?
at all times, and it is okay to take breaks. And while I do think that is a true statement and very noble,
Yeah.
they also seem to forget that he didn't say, don't learn how to play your class properly and don't do damage while being a healer. No one cares if you want to run dungeons only once and have never seen an instance without the message, a player is new to this duty. That is not an excuse for not having any idea what your class does. While you might think it's weird that this class is so far up in the pecking order, despite being one of the more annoying parts of the community, this group of sycophants have the dev team wrapped around
Hey, she not finished yet, Death
the
Threats.
sheer amount of pressure they exude to make the normal content as brain dead as humanly possible and further the gap between normal and hard content has earned them this higher rank.
See, Spook gets it. It's tactical timing. The longer I take to do MSQ, the longer you guys will stick around in the stream. And the longer I have to convince you that there's reason beyond MSQ to watch the stream. It's very tactical. Yeah, exactly. You guys are in the sunk cost. You've sunk some time into the stream watching so far, so you know we're it's only gonna get better from here.
Because they have way too much sway in what gets changed.
Exactly, Monty.
All right, now we can talk about Sprouts, the new players.
Yeah,
new
baby,
players might
represent.
Feel a little bit self-conscious about themselves. I think in general, the community always has a nice place in their heart for new players. Long before I was a jaded, cold-blooded animal in this game, I too was once bewildered and inspired by everything for the first time.
That's kind of my current state of mind right now. I'm so bewildered and inspired. Inspired being an important word there, because like, I don't know. I feel like I've just been in this constant state of awe for the last week. I've just been like, whoa, that's so cool. Whoa, that's so cool. And then it's like, oh, that's a tree. Whoa, that's so cool. Like, but it has been nice. It's been really fun. And I have had a lot of people actually just saying like some people who even DM me just like, yo, bro, by the way, just play the game how you want, right?
Sprouts provide a gateway into that nostalgia that I don't think anyone else can
Headphone
really
dent.
I think we all chuckle a little bit when we see them die to the same shit that caught us off guard for the first time.
Someone has
Running
straight up
away
told
from
me that.
everyone with a stack marker, or forgetting to turn on tank stance for just a little bit too long. Though you never really have to fear Sprouts, they're usually willing to listen for simple advice and are the people who are willing to try to improve. But a wise man once said, beware the Sprout who does not listen. Don't take everything that you hear from people as ironclad fact, but most people won't lie to you if they tell you to stack with the party. Everyone usually likes Sprouts, so my recommendation, use that power and milk some free karma on Reddit while you still can. Or
Reddit, yeah, that's what I should do next.
Upvotes. What the hell do I care?
I'm using my...
Normie.
Have you seen my thumbnails, guys? Look at my thumbnails, though. Easy milking, baby. Look at this little Sprout logo. Look at the little Sprout logo on my head. Gotta get that Sprout action going. Wow, refugees, pure bait. We fall for it every time. That's why there's so many people in the stream right now. My title, WoW Refugee and New Sprout.
We're finally at the bulk of the community, the true middle class. If you play Final Fantasy XIV, you're probably a normie. This is the group that plays fairly
with the thumbnails
often. They're not going to be subbed 100% of the time, but more so than the plot watchers. They will run weekly content and are usually just trying their best to do their rotation and do a good enough job, even if the content that they run is not exactly that hard. They are happy to help new players, but usually just say nothing in chat minus a greeting at the beginning and a thank you at the end. If they manage to really screw something up, they will make notes and adjust anytime they have to run that content later. They are
Yeah,
the ones
that's
who
the
are
smart
willing
way
to
to
stand
do
on
it.
the platforms and Labyrinth of the Ancients and always go into the belly as a DPS on any alliance.
Ooh, that was cool. The lava
Usually
split
pretty
open.
relaxed to talk to, fine with being mediocre, but do have a tendency to shit on World of Warcraft, which is a pretty weird fixation. I never even played WoW, but man, this group makes me feel
This is me. I've been called out. We looking at one. Wow, bad. Based cigar. Dude, truer words have never been spoken.
obligated to hate
I
on
will,
them.
Nunya.
Either way, normies do make up the bulk of the community and are pretty okay in general.
Yeah.
Now we can get to raiders. The people who run hard content every week. These are the people who are trying to gear up for
Look,
best in slot.
I gotta talk about all my experience. Like, what use will it have been if I don't constantly refer to all the time I've spent playing World of Warcraft? If I don't constantly talk about it and use it as a reference point, you know, what good am I? What good is all that time investment that I've put into the game? I have to have something to show for it. Exactly. It's the 15-year gateway drug. It's a very slow. It's a long con, a very slow one to kick in for sure.
And they might not play it very often, but they don't need to, because they are only focused on whatever the current raid tier
Is that the
is.
blimp?
If you have cleared one savage raid, you're already probably part of the top 10% of the player base. This group does have a firm
that's me
understanding
for sure.
of game
That's me for
mechanics
sure.
and probably know how to play their class.
Yeah, I should see it in
Maybe.
the game, right?
While they don't make up the largest part of the player base, they do get to
Yeah,
experience
Liam, if you can
some
help
of
me
the
with that
most
when I log in,
involved
that would be
content
sick.
and
If you're
honestly
gonna stick
some of
around.
the most interesting. Thankfully, they do still get something thrown at them every now and again, but we don't
Sort
get
of
3
spook.
ultimates per expansion, so oh well. Now we're going to talk about free-to-play players. F2P players are honestly intimidating for sub-payers. While
Why?
some free-to-play players probably feel like they owe some debt to the people who actually pay to play the game,
Oh,
in reality, free-to-play players are under no obligation to sub-payers. They enjoy Heaven's Word and are probably the only people who even know what an optimized level 60 rotation looks like. This group has managed to
Wait.
maximize the
did they straight up just never upgrade? Wait, how long does the free trial last? I know that you can't get, like, it's ARR plus Heaven's Sword, right? Can you just keep playing and just basically play the game, like, capped out? Forever? Huh? so they straight up just play forever and they're like, yeah, I don't need the other, like, you know, 2 expansions. So do they just, I guess they can literally, like, there's no limitations apart from, I think you can't send people tells, you can't invite people, is it? And you can't open trays or something, but everyone can just trade you, everyone can invite you and stuff like that, right? So you can't form a party. That is kind of an annoying limitation, to be fair. I mean, I was almost going to do the, I was almost thinking about going free to play, but I just bought the game because I was like, pretty quickly it's going to be like justified me spending money on the game, right? I'd actually argue already I've got something out the game that I could be like, yeah, you know, I'm pretty happy with it, like, to spend the money on it. So I think I heard of someone taking like 7 months to get to the end of Heaven's Sword, like probably playing super casually, right? But that is 7 months of sub time that you did save, so I'd say it's like kind of worth doing if you're not me who wants to like invite viewers to do content and whatnot with them for a week and then you bought the whole thing. Yeah, because I think some people have the mentality. I mean, it's the same thing as subscribing on Twitch, right? Some people have the mentality where it's like, you know what, at this point, you know, this game kind of deserves my money at this point. Like, I've had a lot of fun in it. I think like I just deserve it. It's the same people that are like, you know what, like, yes, the content's free, but I want to like support
content that they have access to the absolute
100%
limit.
Eros.
Leveling everything to 60,
It's a very
running
smart
the
model.
content that most players
I think
who
it's the
started
best free
playing
trial
since
I've heard of.
Stormblood probably never even heard of. In fact, most don't even know that there's a whole 2 additional expansions
Gateway
beyond what they
drug.
have access to. In many ways, they're
They
much
don't
more
know?
intimidating because they probably put in more hours than the people who paid just to be able to experience the plot every single patch. The only downside for them is that they have no friends. We have now finished talking about everybody in the middle class
Fall
of the
Guys
social
collab?
hierarchy.
What's
Now it's
that?
time to start talking about the billionaires
That way everyone's
and the
playing
people
Fall
who
Guys
actually
recently.
control the entire social structure of Final Fantasy XIV. We begin by talking about Yoshi P. He has his entire tier dedicated to him.
My
He
man.
is Jesus Christ himself. This
Yoshi
man has founded
P.
his own religion, died for our sins, solved world hunger,
Protect that
and
man at
even
all
found
costs.
the cure for coronavirus. And despite all
Goated.
these amazing accomplishments, he can never be the top of the pecking order.
What?
And this is because he does not want it. He did
Oh,
manage to save this
he's
game
so
from the brink
humble.
of death, but at the same time, he has limited his power, because if he became any stronger, Not even God himself would stand a chance.
Yep.
The community worships him. You probably
They
respect
love him.
And
We
he is
love
the
him.
one who will fix all of the bugs in Cyberpunk 2077. All that's left is for him to purge mentorship. Now, right above
Purge
Yoshi P
mentorship.
are going to be interior decorators.
One
Now,
thing,
have you ever
Yoshi.
heard of Housing Extreme?
Praise
Well,
me.
these players run freaking Housing Ultimate. The amount of dedication and luck required to get a house in the first place is already bad enough. But these players interact with
Dude,
this
those houses we
awful,
looked at yesterday were
clunky
so sick.
decorating system and make the most beautiful interior decorations that even Frank Lloyd Wright himself would be proud of. I have no idea how they do it. If you ever go randomly through the housing districts, there's always a chance that you'll find a house that just overwhelms you with emotion. The good kind of emotions, too.
I like that.
They have all their crafters and gatherers
to hunt for
leveled
one.
up to be able to make exactly what they need.
I have house.
And I wouldn't be surprised if their planning is down to the micron. The only thing I can say almost for certain is if they decorate their digital house as well as this, their real-life house probably looks like shit.
Yeah.
Still, they do manage to make their ways up into the upper echelons of the social high.
Yo, I can't decorate my house. I'm busy gaming, decorating my house. I can't clean up. I'm goddamn gaming over here. I would be the same as well. I would be like, oh my god, look at my house in the game, and then just like turn around like, yeah, I can live in a mess. Like I can live in the pigsty. Let's not talk about my room. Just play the game for the interior design. I like that there's so many different outlets, I guess, like creative outlets within this game. It's really cool.
Hierarchy. We are now almost at the peak with hardcore raiders. And this is the type of player who's going to strike fear into your soul. They are born from the game code.
That is
Their
me.
living spaces are located in the basement.
In about
of Square
3 years'
Enix's
time,
headquarters
that's
around
me.
the globe, just for a better server connection. Somehow, in spite of their human limitations, they managed to play better than an AI designed to play the game. A person with
35
their
mil,
brain hardwired
jeez.
to the computer could probably not play as well as them. They are the outliers on parsers. Not that they even need the parsers. Parsers need them. They have their GPU and graphic settings completely tailored for optimal DPS, and despite probably not deserving them, they will stick around in your shitty prog group and legitimately try to help you.
That's so sweet, dude. I've heard of so many people just like the amount of people that have come in my chat and be like, yeah, I can help you with this. Like I can help. They've done the ultimates and they're just like, or like they've done the savages and they're just like, yeah, I'll help. Yeah, why not, right? That's kind of like me and WoW a little bit, like very optimized, but I don't mind helping out. And I'll sit it through for a good amount of time before I'm like, okay, maybe this is a lost cause, you know. I actually kind of don't think I want to get to that like mentality in Final Fantasy though, because I've been like all like passing culture and all this in WoW, and like pretty like relatively high end compared to a lot of people at least. I don't know if I want to go down that route in Final Fantasy because I don't know if it like sucks the like min maxing and optimize like over optimizing kind of sucks the fun out of it a little bit. So I think I want to like try and delay or like continuously just to delay that as much as I can. Otherwise I might like start getting like this weird like elitist mentality or something, right? I would do like a weekly viewer raid and we would go through like normal and heroic in WoW. So and sometimes even mythic. I did do some mythic viewer raids and stuff as well, and I would basically like teach and coach people how to do the fights from my viewers, right? So we had like 20 viewers from the chat or like 30 viewers from the chat, like all in a raid together, and I would like teach people to fight, and we would, you know, sometimes we would just wipe and we'd have to go again and stuff. But it was like a Friday tradition I used to run back on WoW. Yeah, it's really good times, to be honest. We would just have like a couple drinks and play some raids on a Friday. It's really nice. One of my favorite things to do once the tear's over. Yeah, it's quite wholesome, isn't it? Quite wholesome.
These are the
But that's
people
what
that
the Final Fantasy
mentors
community
wish
screams
they
to me
could be.
anyway. So
They know the content. They breathe the content. They take the content out on a date and ejaculate their knowledge onto other players.
whoa!
They are almost the top dog if it wasn't for another
Almost.
social group. And that group is going to go
Glamour.
to Glamourers. And I'm not talking about
At the
the
true
shitty
endgame.
Glamours that you see. No Dalmel skin top, not the 2B legging shit. I'm talking about the crowd of players that are
Glams.
single-handedly keeping this game alive. These are the type of players that PvP just to glam. They level every class to 80, including crafters and gatherers, just to get their outfit right and have the perfect aesthetic
Fashion,
for
baby.
every occasion. They will clear Savage and Ultimate, not for best in slot, but just to look fly as fuck.
Go picture,
Not
man.
only
Thank
do
you,
they
man.
probably parse like a monster,
Welcome,
they even
and
look
thank
better
you for the
than
follow.
you while doing it. It's the kind of player that you encounter only once in a lifetime.
True end game.
And when you see them, you can feel the presence change in your room. They know every mechanic.
Ooh, I like this
in
ability.
every fight and how to optimize their DPS.
Is it going to be a
at every
pushback?
single
A pushback,
level
right?
and manipulate the RNG to get the glamour drop
Yeah.
that they need.
He knows
Fuck,
it.
They probably decorated their house as well. World leaders fear them, and RPers worship them. Fashion fantasy players are the true oligarchs of the Final Fantasy XIV community. With that, you now have a complete understanding of the Final
Glamour
Fantasy XIV
confirmed
community.
as the true
Now
endgame.
get out there and emote for 12 hours in Limsa.
Fine, I'll do it. Fine, I'll emote for 12 hours. Man, look at Yoshi P, such a Giga Chad, bro. And he couldn't even be at the top. That was a good video, though. Oh, yeah, let me link this in the chat as well. Dude, I can't believe how much growth he had since he made the video. Like 90K.